Welcome back, everyone, to our ninth annual Institutional Investor Technology Conference. My name is Salman Ziarano, Diversified Technology Analyst, and I will be the moderator for this session. I'm happy to now introduce Mr. Luc Filiatreault, President and CEO of MDF Commerce, who will be sharing with us some exciting business updates at the company following the acquisition and integration of Periscope. Before we start, please ensure your microphone is on mute and your camera is turned off during the session. Please ensure your name appears on screen so we can properly address any questions that you may have. If you have any question, please use the raise a hand feature, or you may submit your questions in the chat. We will get to it as soon as possible. Questions will be moderated by Jordan Simon, who will also be handling any technical issues. With that said, over to you, Luc.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being with us this morning. Very happy to share the MDF story, especially our strategic focus in government procurement, where we feel that the acquisition of Periscope that we made just a few months ago is really a game changer in that industry. So obviously, we'll start with the usual disclaimer, which I am not going to read to you, but we all know how important these things are sometimes. So to give you a very quick executive summary of who MDF Commerce is, we're a transformative SaaS commerce technology company that embarked on a transformational journey about two and a half years ago. And we're currently with a high recurring revenue trending above 80%. And we're empowering customers around the world, generating billions of dollars of transaction on an annual basis. Approximately 800 employees, Canada, US, Denmark, and yes, we have a handful in Ukraine, about a dozen, and they're still doing well, even under the circumstances. And we also have some folks in China. We really have two growth engines in the business. What we call e-procurement, which stands at currently about 55% of our activity based on our last published quarter, which ended December 31st. Unified commerce is just above 30% of our business, and our legacy e-marketplaces, which keep reducing almost on a quarterly basis. So e-procurement is really government procurement software, catering specifically to public entities. We have various portals, various properties across North America, and the brands that you see there are the various brands that we operate, and I'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes. In Unified Commerce, what we offer is a front-end and back-end solutions that optimize supply chain and power e-commerce implementations for businesses ranging from small businesses to enterprise-level international businesses, with a particularly focus on grocery, ordering and fulfilling of grocery and retail portals. In a bit more detail, our government procurement section is all about eradicating waste in government procurement. We've helped public entities of all sizes in the past 20 years to really significantly improve their operations, their efficiency in how to address their procurement requirements. In our e-commerce focus, we really have an enterprise-wide focus, which is about selling everywhere and fulfilling anywhere, where we have clients such as Sobeys across Canada, Aldi in Europe, and various other Canadian Tire, for example, Canadian Tire sub-brands, where we completely power all of their e-commerce operations. Our K-Commerce group is an ERP enabler, which allows mid-sized companies with ERP focused to integrate e-commerce platforms so that their whole inventory, billing, financials, everything gets integrated. So we have a little more than 600 customers, again, across North America that are SMBs using our K-Commerce technology. If you look at what's been going on in the last 2 years, the current management team, myself and many of the others, have joined in the Q3 of fiscal 2020, which was September 2019. And since then, you see there on the top left that both our revenue and our monthly recurring revenue have been growing substantially. The CAGR over the last 2 years is 30% on revenue and almost 35% on the MRR basis. We've really increased our focus, as you can tell in the middle graph, where we used to have basically 18 different companies operating with no integration. And we are now focusing on really 2 sectors and keep operating a 3rd sector in our legacy system, which is fairly flat, but producing profitability. And you see the various progress, both in e-procurement and unified commerce with our last quarter, published quarter, which was December 31st. I should specify that March 31st is our fiscal year end. And unfortunately, that was about 7 or 8 days ago. And we're obviously in a current, not only blackout, but quiet period. So I can't give you more recent figures than the one that were published back in December. A bit more on the government procurement, which is really our main focus right now, 55% of our activity. Spend Matters is the Gartner of government procurement, and they clearly indicate that this market is huge. It's a market that's very largely fragmented, many opportunities for consolidation. There's lots of also acquisition opportunities, and you'll see in just a second that we've been in this business now for a little bit over 20 years. Government technology is at a tipping point. It's almost like the App Store moment that is happening right now. There's a perfect storm of various events, including obviously the pandemic, the supply chain breakage, the severe shortage of human resources and human capital, which really creates the perfect storm for governments to go ahead and digitize their operations. And that's what we're all about. So we're really uniquely positioned to leverage the moment, as approximately 75% of government agencies are not digitally mature. And one of the things that government does pretty heavily is procurement. We estimate that there are a little more than 100,000 government agencies across Canada and US. And today we serve about 6,000 of these agencies. And at 6,000, we estimate that we are, if not the biggest, but certainly one of the biggest players in that market.
To run their day-to-day operations, government agencies constantly need to buy goods and services. These goods and services range from basic supplies, such as computers, office and medical supplies, legal services, gas and electricity for everyday needs, to more complex construction and infrastructure projects, which represent a spend of $1.8 trillion every year, regardless of the political landscape. For the majority of public agencies, the process to procure all these products and services is still largely manual. This antiquated approach to procurement generates high levels of complexity and inefficiency that not only wastes taxpayer money, but frustrates both the buying government agencies and the suppliers. There is a new way. Government agencies are now looking at ways to improve and digitalize their procurement processes. This is where MDF Commerce steps in. Its solution fully digitalizes the process. All procurement activities from RFP to supplier management are handled by a powerful, centralized, and integrated system. Purpose-built for the public sector, it is secure, easily audited, and can seamlessly connect to any existing technology environments. As a result, government agencies become much more efficient, ultimately saving taxpayers money and eradicating waste. Additionally, MDF Commerce's innovative solution, Marketplace, pushes simplification and efficiency one step further. It creates an online store that offers a consumer-like experience and enables all agencies to shop publicly sourced contracts and open market catalogs in just a few clicks, just like ordering from your favorite e-commerce website. This new technology creates an immense opportunity for MDF Commerce as suppliers pay a transactional fee based on spend. The opportunity. Spending for the e-procurement software category is expected to reach $11.7 billion by 2027. And with its ePro and marketplace solutions, MDF Commerce is in a first mover position to capitalize on this growing market that remains untapped until now. With 20+ years of experience in public procurement, MDF Commerce has a strong presence in 40 states and 10 provinces, and already services 6,000 government agencies, and leverages a network of 500,000+ active suppliers across North America. It enables billions of dollars of procurement activities on a yearly basis. This strong foundation and the accelerating growth of its transactional model position MDF Commerce as a dominant player in public sector e-procurement, with the ability to scale and truly dominate this market.
So we realized not too long ago that many people thought that we sort of just got into government procurement with the acquisition of Periscope, but this is not the case. MediaGriff, which was the old name, was founded in 1996, and our first acquisition in government procurement was a Canadian property called Merx. Then we went on to acquire government bids. We acquired BidNet, BidNet Direct, ePipeline, Construction Bid Board, up until 2006. Then the management team that came to MediaGriff sort of diverted for the next 10 years and made some acquisitions in what I would refer to as B2C properties, which was not super successful. And back in 2016, we resumed acquiring in the government procurement space and acquired a Canadian company called ASC. We changed the name of the company to MDF Commerce in 2020 and acquired Vendor Registry, another US-based government procurement. And finally, in 2021, August 2021, our latest acquisition is Periscope Holding, which really transformed us in order to offer a complete procure-to-pay, which I'll be describing in just a few seconds. So you see that our revenue in our last published quarter was about 37 million, with 90% of it being recurring revenue. So clearly, government business is really good business. What's our long-term product vision here? You see on the left that we have these various portals and solutions that cater to government agencies. Periscope, ePro, BidNet, Merx, Vendor Registry, etc. Those are pieces of software that government agencies use to source their vendors, to issue RFPs, to choose their vendors, and to transact with them on a transactional basis. We also offer, obviously, supplier solution, which is kind of the other end of that, that portal. And those are the Periscope, S2G, the BidNet Direct, Merx again, BidNet, etc. And our plan now is to provide one place for the integrated services for the agencies and one place for the suppliers. So we're collapsing all of these properties and into the integration of a Periscope brand, which will be serving US markets, and a Merx brand, which will be serving Canadian markets. The Supplier Hub will uniquely position the marketplace so that government agencies can acquire goods and services on a marketplace, which is something that looks like an Amazon portal and contains all of the business rules that are specific to the various agencies on what they're allowed to procure, how that business is being conducted, and making sure that all of the rules and regulations are transparent and follow the various government rules. So as mentioned before, we're in almost all of North America. Our average customer tenure in that business is more than 9 years. So clearly, the business is extremely sticky. We actually have some customers that have been with us for 20 years or more, and they keep paying us some very good, profitable, recurring revenue. This revenue flywheel, I think, describes it the best. Our buying agencies get on board to access supplier networks and publish bids, and suppliers pay for subscription access to receive those bids, get chosen, to answer them, and transact with the government. With the new acquisition of Periscope, we're now adding full transactional model and full procure-to-pay technology, which is basically in our third quarter adding approximately 40% to our existing revenue base. So we've been in that business now for 20 years, and with the addition of these two technology sets, which will be integrating all in one, we really have an incredible opportunity to dominate that market. So the key takeaways are we have extremely strong revenue and MRR growth in that government procurement business. The GovTech market is at a tipping point. It's accelerating, it's moving fast, and they need to digitize their operations to continue to be able to execute. With our 20 years of history in the public sector, we're clearly a leadership position. We have a very clear product strategy, and the integration that we're going through right now will really create one single place for government agencies and suppliers to go ahead and transact. And we're servicing a broad set of needs in order for the various buyers to find the right sellers and for the suppliers to have a digital electronic way to offer their goods and services to one of the biggest market there is in North America. Adds to that from a stock market perspective, unfortunately, I'm not proud to say, but our stock is trading dirt cheap right now. So if you want to join an opportunity for a winning business that has an immense opportunity of making a real difference, go ahead and come in with us. With this, I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke, for that extremely insightful presentation. Especially love the video in right in the middle of it. So first of all, I do have some questions on my end. And again, to the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them away in the chat or raise your hand if you want to ask any questions from Luke. Luke, a few questions from my end. First of all, again, since we're focusing on e-procurement, can you talk about maybe the cross-selling efforts talk a little bit more about the cross-selling efforts that are underway as it pertains to Periscope's transaction fee-based model? Like, what's the reaction been among your existing clients as well as new clients for this model?
We've already been successful in selling numerous of our various modules to each other's clients. For example, the MDF portion was present in certain states and certain areas where the Periscope technology was not distributed, and vice versa. We have some of the MDF technology, mostly our CLM module, our contract lifecycle management module, which has been adopted now by, I believe it's 6 or 7 cities, counties across the Periscope base of clients. So we're already successful in winning new business that we would not have won without having that integration possibility.
Okay, and within the presentation, I also noticed that, again, Spend Matters mentioned that, there are a lot of opportunities for consolidation within North America and within Europe as well. So that was something that, pretty much struck out to me. So that being said, are you seeing any opportunities within Europe, within the UK, or any other countries for that matter?
Well, we actually have a pretty fierce competitor in Europe called Mercell, which is also consolidating the market. I would say that we probably have similar strategies, but this market does tend to be geographically focused and sort of spreads like an oil stain. Governments like to do business more locally if they can. So it's always interesting to see that they're sort of confirming our strategy, and these are folks that we know. And right now we have so much possibilities in North America that I would choose to focus in North America first, and then potentially if I don't know, very particular opportunities show up in Europe, then we might have a look. But like I said, 75% of agencies here are not digitally mature. And that's a market of approximately 7,500 of these agencies. So it's at least 1,000 times what I currently have. I'd love to operate in Europe, but let's see if we can consolidate our leadership position here right now.
Well, that's a fair comment. And yes, you're 100% right. There's a lot of opportunity within North America alone. So yes, fair to focus there.
Our three teams for 2023 are first focus. So, geography, technology, it's very important. Can't do all things to all people. Second is simplify. And if you looked at our presentations 2 years ago, you would see that the business was all over the place. And thirdly, it's to execute and deliver on the promise to supply our customers with great technology and supply our investors with great returns.
Understood. Makes complete sense. And my last question here. So post Periscope, is MDF looking at any further tuck-ins which could further complement its end-to-end offerings, or will the focus now remain on pretty much spurring organic growth for the foreseeable future?
Probably that for the next few quarters, we will definitely focus on organic growth and completing the integration of Periscope. As you saw in my presentation, from a technology perspective, we really want to create one single stop for customers, for agencies and suppliers. And that will still take a little bit of time. It's a lot of work. And second, with the stock where it is right now, I think it would not be a good time to go ahead and find transaction. This being said, if opportunities come around, we'll see what we'll do about them. But for now, the focus is really on delivering that integration and making sure that we sign up as many of these customers as we can.
Okay, understood. So yeah, that's pretty much all the questions from my end. Again, thank you very much, Luc, for the extremely insightful update and the presentation. So this concludes our session with MDF Commerce. Thank you all for attending. To exit the webinar, please click the leave button, or you can remain in the room for the next presentation. The next presentation will be Texas at 9:25 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salman.